Exactly how loud are these record machines? And is it possible that one of them can make you go deaf? I recently posted a video about my experience with the Record Doctor 10. And since getting that machine, I don't dread cleaning records like I used to. For example, cleaning a batch of, say, 5 records. That used to take me easily 30 minutes. I'm down to less than 10 minutes for a batch of 5 records, maybe even a little bit less than that. Some records will, honestly take a little bit longer than others if they're very dirty. So I'll just let the solution sit on the surface of the record for a little bit, let it do its work, and maybe I'll give it more than a few spins on the Record Doctor 10. Then it goes in the spin clean for the rinse and back to the Record Doctor 10 to get off the fluid from the rinse, the post cleaning rinse. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. Since posting that video, I had a number of folks reach out and ask me, how loud is the Record Doctor 10? Is it quieter than the previous version, the Record Doctor 6? Or even the pro-ject VCE2, which I also own and I bought about a year ago. I bought it right before the Record Doctor 10 came out, not knowing that the folks at Record Doctor were coming out with their own automated solution that spins the platter on its own, so you don't have to manually do it like you do with the Record Doctor 6. So it's a great question. How loud are these machines compared to one another? And is the Record Doctor 10 quieter?
So here we are in my review room. You can see some of my review equipment behind me and the 3 machines sitting in front of me. Over to my left, on my left, is the Record Doctor 6. In the middle is the pro-ject VCE2. And over here on my right is the Record Doctor 10. Now, to simulate a real live cleaning, I have put records on each of the machines because it does muffle the sound a bit when there's a record on the machine itself or over the vacuum slot, and I don't think anyone would ever run it without a record on it anyway, so that's what we're going to go with today. Now, like I said, this is not the most scientific of tests. This is at first going to be just sound. I'm going to do something else afterwards, which I'll show you. But we're going to do this test on just picking up with this Heil PR40 mic. Now, this microphone was designed, obviously, for voice. It's a very expensive podcasting mic. People use it for podcasting. I use it for podcasting, and I also use it for this channel. But we're going to use that today just to pick up the sound from each of the machines at an equal distance. So let's start with just the sound test, strictly the sound test. And I don't know if you have headphones. If you have headphones, you might want to throw those on. If not, I think it'll work anyways. All right, so let's begin the sound test. We're going to start with the Record Doctor 6. And here we go. All right, that's the Record Doctor 6. Let's move on to the pro-ject VCE2. Gonna get this set up here. Sounds like it's dying at the end. All right, so let's go over to the Record Doctor 10. All right, so that is the sound test. So out of the 3, strictly by sound alone, I might have to say the 6 was a little bit quieter. And if that is the case, it could be attributed to the fact that the Record Doctor 10 has a dual vacuum, what's the word I'm looking for? Solution. So you've got a top slot vacuum slot and a bottom vacuum slot. Could be that it's more powerful and to overcome that torque of the spinning. The second test now is one that is a little bit more scientific, but not quite, not exactly. I'm going to use an app called Decibel. This is an app that I use in my vinyl room when I'm listening. And like I've said before in the past, I don't listen loud. I listen around 75 dB is typically what I'm listening to records at. Okay, so to start this test, I have the DB app running, the Decibel app running, and I also have an iPad hooked up to it, and we're going to use the mic on the iPad to measure the sound from roughly a meter away on each of these machines. So we're going to start with the Record Doctor 6. I'm not going to show you the results until afterwards.
Now, I didn't want to say anything before the reveal, of course. And if you remember, right before we did it with the decibel meter, I listened to it just like you did, using the Heil PR40 mic, sitting equidistant from each of the three machines, or as equidistant as I could get in a non-scientific setting. And I thought that the Record Doctor 6 was perhaps the quietest of the bunch. So this is the Record Doctor 6's results on the decibel meter. Now, this is the pro-ject VCE2's results on the decibel meter. You can see it did a little bit better. The Record Doctor 10. Now, the Record Doctor 10's results actually came out just about a decibel or two quieter. Nothing huge, it's nothing drastic, but I was pleased to see that the Record Doctor 10 came out just a little bit better than the other two. I will say, though, everything else being equal, the Record Doctor machines do clean a little bit better than the pro-ject VCE2. I've noticed with both machines that there is no residue left. I do prefer the Record Doctor 10 because it's much quicker, it cleans both sides, and it cleans both sides very, very well. Now, if there are other folks that have tried both the pro-ject and also the Record Doctor 10, or even the pro-ject and the Record Doctor 6, I'd love to hear from you and get your thoughts on this. I do know of at least a couple other people out there who are probably watching right now who did switch from the pro-ject VCE2 to the Record Doctor 10 after the last video I did. So I hope this very non-scientific test helped just a little bit for those of you who are wondering, how the sounds or how loud they were compared to one another. Oh, there's one other thing too that I forgot to mention that's very important about these tests. Hit the like button. I know I can't help it. Anyway, thank you for being here as always. And thank you for watching this NASA approved test, because some of the rocket scientists from NASA came down and watched what I was doing and said, hey, you're spot on. This is exactly how you test for sound. It's really not. I lied. Anyway, until next time, take care of yourselves and enjoy your records.